Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GABNET, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hey everybody, this is Alex Bennett, host of the Ramble, heard here and seen here on GABNET, Tuesday through Fridays, live at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and I got some big news for you. Our program has moved its live video from Facebook Live to YouTube Live. After extensive tests in our GABNET laboratories of at least 10 minutes, our mind was made up and we've come to the conclusion that YouTube is superior not only in video quality, but audio as well. And then there's the ease of watching it. Here's what you do. Simply point your browser to youtube.com/Bolo Bennett/live. That's youtube.com/Bolo Bennett, BOLOBENNETT/live, and you're there. The player is waiting, and you do nothing, and when the show begins, so does the player. Couldn't be simpler. In fact, tag that page as a permanent tab on your browser, and you're ready to go. And if all of this is too vexing for you, well, just go to gabnet.net near showtime, and the player in the middle of the page will start to play when we're on. We're thrilled with the new quality our move has provided, and while you're there, would you do me a favor and please subscribe to our channel? No, I beg you to. Hey, listen to me, I'm groveling, okay? I know, it's pathetic. I'm sorry, I'm debasing myself, and I really shouldn't be. Please.
GABNET has a whole new look. Let's check it out. Starting at the top left, you'll find a rotating billboard with all the great GABNET programs. The upper right has the most recent Alex Bennett's Ramble video featuring Alex and the Citizen Panel. Below the billboard and Ramble video are quick links to the different ways to connect to our programs. There's Facebook Live, YouTube, TuneIn, Livestream, Vimeo, and our Roku channel. Down the left side of the page is GABNET On Demand for quick access to any of our most recent programs. On the right side is a short, easy tutorial on how you can become a citizen panelist and a phone number if you're a Luddite. There's a convenient Call Skype button that does it all for you. In the center of the page, find our 24/7 TuneIn feed. Below that, learn how to ask Alexa to play GABNET on your Amazon Echo. Then you'll find our live video. When it's streaming live, it automatically starts to play. And finally, there's a link to contact us with your comments. It's efficient, it's concise, and it's all on one page. And it's all you need to know about GABNET. Talk like you've never heard or seen before. Reasons why you tune into GABNET. Here's reason number 9. Great celebrity guests.
So how many years is this now with Teller?
43, and that's 43 continuous. You can try to say Keith Richards and Mick Jagger go longer, but they take 3, 4, 5 years off. You know, even when they're together, they take the time off. Continuous, you know, no more than 2 weeks working apart, I think.
Wow. And
like being waterboarded for 43 years.
GABNET. Reasons to listen every day. Log on to gabnet.net for more. GABNET. It's talk like you've never heard it before.
Every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, get yourself comfy and listen to GABNET's Late Night Lady, 30-Minute Marjorie.
I'm going to bed. I've had a hard week. I think it's lacking nookie. So I'm tired.
That's my wife, by the way. If you just joined us, I'm Alex Bennett. This is the Ramble. It goes till midnight.
I think we should take bets.
What?
What time I'm going to fall asleep.
On tonight's show?
Yeah, all bets.
I'm saying you'll make it through the first half hour.
I'm usually good for half an hour. It's after the half an hour that...
Last week, before the half hour was over, you were falling asleep while I was talking to you.
That's not true.
That's true.
That's not true.
It's true.
How could I talk back to you if I'm asleep?
30-Minute Marjorie is not an official program on the Great American Broadcast Network, a tune-in partner. The length of Marjorie's appearance will vary on each and every Friday night, depending on how tired she is.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is Gabnet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
And this is where I start to sing. Wait a minute, let me go to my camera so you can all see me. Hello, folks. Oh, yes, it's Friday. It's the end of our week, and of course, that must mean that part of the ugliness of Friday is, of course, look at him. Just look in the camera
What did you
and say
say?
hello.
The ugliness?
The ugliness of Fridays is...
Well, that's real nice.
Huh?
That's
Well,
nice. I'm ugly.
Yeah? No, actually,
terrible.
you're not. You're prettier than I am.
Well...
That isn't saying much. Well, if people will look, I went out and had the bags under my eyes taken care of this week.
Let me see. Wow.
So
It
they're
really is
gone.
amazing.
Huh? Yeah. They still got the dewlap here. I look like an iguana, So anyway, move your cap up so they can see your face. You bring it down so low that they can't see your face.
Hi.
And not that anybody wants to.
You're itching for a night.
Yeah. We're wearing matching outfits. We're like that couple you hate who wear matching outfits. I've got my Pixar pullover, and what is this called? This is a
hoodie.
This is a hoodie. Yeah.
But I was wearing mine first.
And yours is a Pixar. Well, I thought you were wearing the other one. I
No,
thought you were
washed
wearing the
other
Tahoe.
one. I washed the other one.
You washed the other one. Oh, this one I don't think has ever been washed. Tell you the truth. Don't try to smell it, folks.
Don't try to smell him.
Oh, so
He changes
that's
his
it, huh?
underpants once a week.
No, I changed them many times. I threw at least 3 underpants in there.
Well, it's interesting.
Well, I don't know.
Only one pair came out.
What do you do? You take them over there and you eat them?
Only one pair came out of the dryer.
Really?
Yeah. You saw it.
Well, I change them whenever I shower.
And?
Yeah. Well, the only reason you ever shower is because you go to work out, and so you have to shower after that, right?
Actually, I don't. I wait until Monday.
You know what the trouble with this whole thing about me being retired?
Retarded?
I mean, I am retired, I guess.
Retarded, did you say?
Retarded. Is that you forget when you took a shower last.
Or when you got out of your pajamas
No,
last.
when I used to get up in the morning to go to work, I would hop in the shower because it would wake me up, right? But now sometimes I don't even get out of my pajamas.
Tell me about it.
Well, you don't when we're here all day on a Saturday or Sunday. You don't.
I am out in the morning at 6 o'clock. So don't tell me I don't get out.
Oh yeah, you go out. You go over to work out.
Yeah, tomorrow's Stu Leonard's.
Oh, we're going to Stu Leonard's tomorrow?
Are you going?
Yeah, I want to go to Stu Leonard's. I like Stu Leonard's. I like him. I really like
We're
him.
going at 11.
The only thing is, I can't take full advantage of Stu Leonard's because what happens is, if you buy something, they give you a free ice cream cone.
Yes, $100 you get a free.
Now, I had a deal. I was doing on my radio show in San Francisco. Harvey, who was Gary's brother, who passed a while back, opened up with Gary's aid a cell phone store called Phonetics, and they bought advertising on my show. And right next door was this ice cream store. So I said, why don't you do a deal where when somebody buys a phone, you give them a thing and they can go next door and get a cone? I did that years ago, probably before Stu Leonard ever did it. And so I came up with the quote, buy a phone, get a cone. And everybody who came in and bought a phone, they wanted their coupon so they could go next door and get the cone. Yeah,
that's a great story.
And I made that place a bloody hit. That's when I used to be a big shot.
When you used to be a...
That's when I did something anybody cared. How mmany people we got watching? Oh, it's getting good. It's getting good. See, you draw them in.
I draw them in.
And after you leave it at the 30-minute mark, I lose them.
Which, by the way...
What?
It's 10:10, but I'm just saying.
I don't want another time signal for another 15, 20 minutes.
Just saying. Your eyes look great.
Huh?
Your eyes look great.
Yeah, they do.
Look in the mirror.
Well, I'm looking. I can also look at myself here, and I can see that my eyes are better than they were.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, yeah. Let people. Wait a minute. Let me do a close up of me, and you can all see my eyes, which are normally baggy. They're not, because we use what, the magic elixir. What is that stuff?
Mud.
It's a mud.
It's a mud base. Mud tightens.
You know why? Because apparently you didn't put the top on it.
No,
tight
no,
enough.
no. It just because there was stuff in the thing, so that just.
Yeah. Well, I came in. I put
With
something
a
in there,
pen,
and then
yeah.
a little glump of it came out that we couldn't use.
It's going to have to be like that every time.
Yeah. Well, you got it, but for yourself. But you decided you don't want to use it.
No, it's drying.
It's only good for
a couple hours.
Yeah. If I go in and wash my face right now, I've got bags back in my eyes. And the only problem is I need to have these lids picked up, that operation we were talking about that they said could be taken care of by Medicare because of it's medical. It's a medical condition. And if my eyes were then open like this, then it would look good. Instead, everything looks better in that area, but the eyelids are still drooping. So.
Well, everything kind of drops as you get older.
Oh, fuck gravity, you know? Whoever invented God, who
Gravi-
invented gravity,
Gravity
right?
takes over.
I'm having my Major Dickinsons tonight.
Good. Don't
or
spill
Major
it.
Dixons,
Don't
I think
spill
it's called.
it.
Yeah. No, I don't. I'm
don't?
I'm very careful. No, I did one night.
I can recall.
One night I did, and the keyboard wouldn't work anymore. But all you have to do, if you ever spill anything in your keyboard, the hint is it won't work. Just let it dry for like 24 hours. And once it's dry, it's good to go again. So that's what happened here. I got a little mud on this one. That mud
I have
stuff.
toothpaste on mine.
Oh yeah, she comes in the morning and she brushes her teeth while pounding on the computer, and always there's like, why don't you? No. Sometimes I clean them up. You have a ruler there, and on the ruler is some of the toothpaste. Here, hand me the ruler so I can show everybody. Here, look, folks. This is her toothpaste right there. See that? See those two little things there? You see? People who are just listening to the radio have no idea what I'm talking about.
Which is just as well.
Yeah. So anyway, you were watching the Olympics.
The opening ceremony.
The opening ceremony. Here's what we did. Because we really find NBC obnoxious. Okay?
Yeah.
Because you watch the opening ceremonies, boom. You we'll be back after this commercial break, and they go to a commercial break
every 3 minutes.
And then they come back and they show some more, and but the Olympics, the opening ceremonies happen about 11 hours, 13 hours ago. There's like a 13-hour difference or something between here and Sochi, or not Sochi, Pyeongchang, whatever it is, Pyongyang. And so I said, well, if I go online, I bet I can find the BBC coverage of it because they're probably already broadcasted 6 hours ago, right? So I went over there, and sure enough, I got it. And so we just started watching the British version,
with
the
no
BBC version, and it doesn't have commercials. And I was timing from the time we started to the end. They were back 20 minutes here by the time I left the room. So
theirs is 3 hours.
Theirs is 3 hours.
Is 2.
It was 2:30, something like 2:30, 2:25, 2:21. That was it.
A half an hour difference.
So they throw in 40 minutes worth of commercials during the whole thing.
Yeah.
And all they have to do is stop tape, because it's already recorded. So anyway, but outside of having the British announcers, which weren't bad, and the fact that I did watch a little of the American version, and when the Americans came, they had their own special cameras. Everything else was pool coverage. It's exactly the same stuff because they get it all from the same pool coverage. But NBC had their own cameras there so they could go up and take pictures of the American team while all these other countries are going by, and they're not saying, hey, there goes Moldova. By the way, where is Moldova?
I don't know. There were a couple countries.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Let me look it up. This really bothered me because they went Moldova, and I went, I don't know what part of the world Moldova is in. Okay, am I an idiot, or am I, or do I just not care? I thought I was a worldly person. Moldova, okay, is a Moldova a restaurant? Let's see here, Moldova. Okay, officially the Republic of Moldova. It was the Romanian Republic of Moldova. Let's see here. It doesn't say where it is.
Yeah, there's a map on the right.
Oh, okay. It's right next to Romania.
Okay, there you go.
Right, which is right under the what it was the USSR and is now, of course, Russia. So yeah, and its largest city is Chisinau. So now you know where Moldova is. I wondered where Moldova was.
There's a whole batch of countries I've never heard.
Like what?
I can't remember. That there was a whole batch that only had one athlete.
That only had one athlete?
Yeah, there are about 4 or 5 countries that only had one athlete that were holding the flag.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, okay. Which was the one that was the smallest that we saw there of the people of the countries?
There were 4 or 5 that were small. That just had one athlete.
Yeah. They had like one athlete, and that was it. Yeah. Was there one with one athlete?
Yeah, there were about 5 or 6 with one athlete.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, some of those countries are like in areas where they're not going to ski. You know, they're not going to go in for
like Bermuda was there in their Bermuda shorts.
Yeah. And there were 3 of them, and one of them was a really old guy.
Well, he could have been a coach.
Like a coach or something. Are you allowed to let your coach walk with you?
I don't know.
Now, when the United States came on,
300
I'm just
strong.
getting some stuff together. 300 strong. It's like we're ganging up on all the other countries to win.
Canada had a big chunk.
They not as many as we had. They had about 100 maybe, but we had like 300 people there. And of course, if those 300 people are going to compete, we have a better chance of walking away with gold, right?
For nothing.
Yeah. And then our Vice President Pence was there. Why didn't Trump go? I guess because he didn't want to be yelled at by the rest of the world.
Probably.
Right?
Yeah.
But he didn't go. But Pence was there, and Pence was seated right in front of Kim Jong-un's sister. And while everyone, including, see, the thing that's great about this is North Korea and South Korea have combined to have one team called Korea.
And their flag was a white background and a red picture of the countries, both countries.
Both countries.
But just one, no break or anything.
Yeah,
just,
and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
That, you know what? If anything, North Korea was acting in the best spirit of these games, which is you take a pause in your warring and your hatred for each other, and you compete. And you compete, and they're competing together, as one team.
Yeah.
And I think it's wonderful. And the president of South Korea got up and walked back and shook Kim Jong-un's sister's hand and everything. Pence didn't even look at her. Now, it would have been nice
for him to turn around,
for him to just turn around and
acknowledge
her, shake hands with her, and just say, "I'm." Mike Pence, I'm Vice President of the United States, and I just wanted to say hello, because it's in the spirit of the games. But no, fuck the spirit of the games. We're going to bring our in fact, Pence was interviewed earlier today on NBC, and he was going, well, I think the world should not forget the terrible what do you call it? The terribleness of North Korea and the way they treat their people and blah, 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 and that they have to know that even here. And I'm going, that's not what the games are about. The games are for suspending any hatreds, any dislikes, any enmity that you might have. And together in spirit, get together as a world.
It's like during World War I where they all stopped and celebrated Christmas. And they shared booze, and then they go back to war.
So he was there in Pyongyang trying to stir up the pot.
Yeah.
And that's terrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But anyway,
I'm tired.
Do I bore you?
I'm just saying.
I bore you.
Well, no.
No. And another thing today, did you hear about Trump, the latest Trump?
I was just reading
Trumpy deal? Yeah.
What an asshole.
He will not allow the Democratic memo to
be released.
See, it's up to the president to do it because both of these memos are considered confidential, and the only person that can make them known is the president of the United States.
The House can override it.
The House can override it?
They can make changes, and they can override it as a group. But I doubt they'll do that.
I doubt they'll do that.
Yeah.
He should have, in the spirit of everything.
Well, there's no spirit about
him. He doesn't
him.
want people to read the other opinion of what went on.
Of course.
Okay? And so that's pretty terrible. So, anyway. So, today we made back some money. The stock market rebounded vigorously with what would have been a good market. But considering what the slaughter that's gone on for the last 2 weeks, it's like a piss in the fucking ocean. But I think it was up like 350 points or something.
I got money yesterday, remember?
Oh, listen to her. Listen to her. In fact, I'm jealous about this. Tell them what happened.
I forget the little
Well, you don't have
software.
to get it. Just tell them what happened.
Well, when Alex was talking about...
Well, I went to Credit Karma.
Right, he went to Credit Karma, and you got
three.
I
found two. I think two. I found out that I was owed some money, so I went and I looked, and sure enough, there were a couple of refunds from like Western Digital or something I never applied for, and supposedly I was due. So the state of California keeps that money. I didn't talk to you. What the fuck? Shut the fuck up, Siri. What's that all about? Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh, so I got one check for like $100, another one for about 30 or 40 or something. You know, just found money. That's nice. So she finds out that she goes to it and finds out she's owed some money. So she just applies for it in New York State, right? Tell them how much you made.
It was what, about 300?
First one of them was
200 and something.
200 and change.
One was 100 and something.
I think we figured you made about $350.
Yeah, not bad.
In refunds.
Not bad.
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. But now I'm jealous. Is there any bet I can make you or something?
Well, you
win?
could try New York. You only tried California.
No. I went on there and they said, here are the various states where you may have, these are the various claims around under your name.
New York?
Well, yeah, I mean, I looked in New York and I didn't have any listings.
I only did New York. I didn't do D.C.
Yours was for Blue Cross Blue Shield. Which had to be a long time ago, because when was the last time you had Blue Cross Blue Shield?
I don't remember.
I mean...
one was from... What was the other ones from?
Was Blue Cross Blue Shield, and then there was something from what looked like a travel agency or something.
Yeah, but then what was the third?
I think it was also medical.
Medical.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah, but I'm wondering what the exact refund was for. I mean, did Blue Cross Blue Shield cheat you out of some money or something?
Or a refund that I never cashed?
Mm-hmm. That could be.
Yeah.
That could be, but it would have to be a long time ago.
Well, obviously.
Because you don't remember. When did you have Blue Cross Blue Shield last?
I don't remember.
It had to be when you were in New York. So that had and probably at whatever that job you were at, that place where when I first met you, you were working. Did they have Blue Cross Blue Shield?
No, they didn't have insurance, and I was just a part-time.
Oh, I see.
At the architects.
Yeah.
Did we have insurance?
It's interesting.
No.
We're getting new insurance.
Yes, we are.
We have suffered for the longest time with the insurance that she has, because you have at work you have Oxford, and my
company pays 100%.
She's Medicare, I'm Medicare, but at work she got Oxford, the full deal, right? And here's where Oxford, I think, was ripping them off. You get the full deal, but the thing is, because we're Medicare and there are only 4 people in this plan, the Medicare becomes our primary
by law,
and the other insurance becomes our secondary.
Which means that they're paying just for the 20%,
$21,000 a year.
Well, they charge my company as if we were like full payment.
Yeah.
And I asked our agent, and he said they do it because small companies, they get like a flat package. You know what I mean? There's no exceptions or anything in it.
But what happened is she went to her bosses and said, "Look, why don't you pay for
SAG?
Why don't you pay for this? You're going to save $19,000 a year."
I wish they'd give that to me.
Yeah, and there was no gripe, and so from here on in, they're going to pay for the
quarterly.
The quarterly, which we get on the old one, I had like $1,000 deductible or something like that.
And 3,000 out of network.
Yeah, and 3,000 out of network, and you know, I never. I mean, she did because she loves going to her doctors. But
I don't love going to doctors.
Well, you have one. I don't know. Every time I talk to you, you say I'm going to be late coming home. I have a doctor's appointment.
Well, yeah, I take care of it.
Yeah. Anyway,
you just complain.
I just complain. So anyway, so she hits her $1,000 pretty fast, I would say, but it's out of your pocket, right? But I've never had. I think once Oxford paid for something, and they pay for the medicines, some of it, not all of it, and not all of them. Okay, this thing is a $250 deductible per year for you and $250 for me, and we're paying about a little over $2,000 a year for insurance. Wow.
Yeah.
It's $177 a month, and you know. Great
for
coverage,
both of us.
Great coverage, Blue Cross Blue Shield, better dental than we had, with a dental plan that is accepted by more dentists than the old one, like our old dentist takes it.
Can I roll?
Not yet. Do not get itchy, okay?
It's 10:26.
By the way, I have to clear some things here, so let's keep talking. Anyway, so it's
we have a nice policy starting March 1.
Yeah. But I mean, I really think it was criminal what they did. You know, I mean, let's be honest about it.
Well, I wanted to do a formal complaint, but the agent said you can't because they get these flat rates.
Oh, wait a minute! I forgot to turn. You know, I've just had the camera on me and not on us. I'm sorry.
Are you serious?
Well, when I came over to me to show people something.
It's all about you.
No, I was so ensconced in talking to you.
I'm rolling over.
That I forgot to do it. No, don't roll over. Don't roll over yet. You've got 2 minutes before you roll over.
It takes me 2 minutes to roll over.
Don't roll over.
Roll me over.
I may as well have had the picture on me. Why? It was on me for about the last 5 minutes. I feel so bad about that. Here.
Half an hour. I'm rolling over.
Wait a minute. No, don't roll over. Don't roll over. Don't roll over. I want to put you on the screen for a few minutes here, all by yourself. I don't want to
be on the screen.
Here you go. Wait a minute. No, don't roll over. Stay there. Stay there, because now I'm going to give you equal time, because I didn't have equal time before. So
there.
So look in the camera. See, they can all see you.
Hi.
See how pretty she is? Isn't she lovely? Oh, isn't she beautiful?
Okay.
Well, no, not yet. Not yet. Oh, you really want to, don't you?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Watch her roll over. Between the screens, you'll see what happens here. This is clever. Watch this. Yeah. Okay, come on over. Come on over. Let me turn off that mic so that there isn't too much echo going on.
We got to turn the mic this way.
No, don't do that.
We got to turn it.
Boy, I'm going to open up the phones.
Good.
I don't think anybody's...
Please call in
Phil
tonight, I am really tired.
It's a Phil-free night, by the way.
It's a Phil-free night, so please
it's a Phil-free night tonight,
to call, because it's a Phil-free night.
Yeah, so don't...
Phil-free.
Yeah, Phil-free to call.
Phil-free.
Phil-free to call.
Phil-free to call.
Yeah, but no, it's a Phil-free night, so we need people to call.
Brian and Jeff, where are you guys?
Wait a minute. They haven't had time to call yet.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm going to get myself some Bluetooth earphones. Because this thing, I hate having a cord now. It isn't that long. And, I could put the Bluetooths on and then not have to. Yeah. So how do you like my new toy?
What toy?
The new toy.
Which new toy? You got a whole batch of new toys.
My Echo.
What Echo? Oh, that Echo.
The
Echo 2.
Echo, no, it's called Echo Spot.
Echo 2.
Spot.
Echo the
like
second.
This morning she came in, I was waking up to my news, which I was watching.
I'd rather watch it on the
Reuters.
Television.
Huh?
I'd rather watch it on the television.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right, kiddo.
You're going to go and leave me alone before these people start calling? Not on your life.
Please call somebody.
Yeah. What? Don't beg.
I'm begging.
I have a new don't beg policy.
I'm begging. Please.
Let me bring my.
Where are you when I need you?
Let me bring mine up like that too, like yours. There we go. See,
There we go. We're
wearing.
twins.
Isn't that
We're
cute?
old people.
We're wearing matching hoodies. These are from Pixar.
Yes, they are.
From our friend who used to work at Pixar
Yeah.
but doesn't anymore. Or he's off on a sabbatical.
He's been on a sabbatical for over a year. They're traveling all over.
Yeah, well, you know why that work can drive you crazy.
And it knocks
can
you out.
drive you crazy. Anyway, so we're waiting for people to call. Now, in case people don't know how to call, tell them how to do it. Now,
I have no idea. So that's your thing.
We prefer that you use Skype. And if you want to know how to get Skype and how to install it and all of that, it's a very simple primer tutorial on the right-hand side of gabnet.net, Gabnet.net. It tells you where to go get it. It even has a place where you can click and go get it. And then you get it and you download it into your computer. And then it's very simple to load in. And then you just give them your first name, last name, an ID you want to use, and also your email address. It doesn't cost you anything. To call us doesn't cost anything. And it's very simple to do. Now, I wish I could show you how simple. What do you?
I thank Louise.
She said they're cute. That's how newlyweds are. Is that what she said?
Yes, she did.
Okay.
Thank you. Where has he been?
Here's Rob Alfano to save
the day.
To save the day. Wait a minute, he's whirling around there. Hold on a second. Where? Come on. There. Oh, there's the picture. Nice try. There we go.
He is.
There you are.
With my favorite microphone.
I'm the first one on, huh?
You're the first one on. Yeah.
And I'm leaving early tonight.
Oh boy.
This kid is tired.
Long week.
Yeah. How was your week?
Long week.
Really?
Exhausted. Yeah.
Long in what respect? You had a lot of work to do?
Come nighttime, boy, the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Finding it difficult to stay awake.
Really?
I poop out.
Yeah. I'm the same way, but I have the show to do. So, it's different.
This morning started at 6:45. I had a guy come this morning and he put a whole house humidifier in.
What?
A whole house humidifier.
Oh, humidifier.
Yeah,
okay.
Because it's just too dry in here. What a difference. Just he did it. He finished around, I don't know, maybe 10 hours ago, and it just a complete difference.
And where it's a whole house humidifier. So does he hook it up to your air conditioning or something, or?
He hooks it up to the heat plant downstairs, and the water supply, because it's constantly spraying water into the heat system as it blows the heat. It makes steam, and it sends the steam up into the vents.
Now, you might want to turn that off come summertime, right?
Yes, you do.
Right? Because then you have to go in and have them put in a dehumidifier.
Yeah, no, there's enough humidity for the summer, but for the winter, it's been around 20%, and boy, it's just brutal, and it's destroying the house. I mean, the walls are cracking. We're seeing the wood floor separate from all the wood drying out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, isn't that the fault of the people who constructed this for you?
No, it's hot, forced air heat.
Yeah.
So it's all dry air. Right, it's it's not like radiators or that kind of thing. It's dry, forced air heat, and that's what it is. And with this cold weather, the heat's been running so much that the humidity in the house has been so low for a month and a half.
Wow.
Luckily that we have the 1-year inspection in right around September. They'll come here and they'll fix all the walls, they'll fix all of the cracks, they plaster everything, they fix everything.
So the people you bought it from or who did it for you.
The company comes and fixes everything. They give you 1 year for the house to settle because it's a new house.
Oh, I see. And so where they see that it's settled and maybe there's a crack here or a thing there or whatever, they clean it up and make it look. That's fine. That's great. You're certainly getting your money's worth. That's for damn sure.
This year especially.
Yeah. The thing I was wondering is, like here, I don't have trouble with humidity because we have radiators.
Yeah.
And radiators have, moist heat.
Yep.
And so I never get the feeling of getting dry. But You know what I love, though, about radiators? Have you ever lived in a house with a radiator?
Yeah, sure.
Did yours make noise?
Yep.
Yeah, I love it when they go clank, when it's a cold winter night and all of a sudden I hear clank, 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 because I know the radiator's going on.
Yeah.
It's almost a soothing sound. You know, so.
I remember being a kid, what's that? In my grandmother's house, she had an old house that was built in the 40s.
Yeah.
All radiators, and you hear that clank, 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 clank. What the hell? Because I grew up in a house with forced air heat like this.
Yeah. Where is everybody? We need more people, folks. It's just Rob and I. Of course, we could do the whole show together, right, Rob?
Sure.
Yeah. Fuck them. Fuck them. You know, been very, very weird lately. Some nights, 4 people. Other nights, full house. And there's no telling, like usually on a Friday, there are more people calling at this point. But
a lot of people listening?
Huh?
A lot of people
could it be? It could be a lot of people viewing. We get more people watching on YouTube than we ever did on Facebook. I mean, at a time. But it's okay. You know, it's all right. But if nobody wants to call tonight, he's tired, I'm tired. We could just talk for the next 20 minutes and then call the whole thing off. You know. Do that. Did you watch any of the Olympics at all, of the opening ceremonies?
You know what I watched? I love Real Sports with Brian Gumbel on HBO. Yeah. And I watched the new one, and there was this report and they did on the USOC, this corrupt, horrible organization that takes in all this money and doles it out to all these CEOs and all these executives who work for their organizations underneath that control different sports, like I'm hearing feedback.
You're hearing feedback?
Yeah. Oh, it's gone now. Yeah. Anyway, there is all this money that comes in, and the athletes get zero or next to zero. They profiled a couple of guys who are skiers, and one of the guys is a plumber.
Yeah.
The other guy is fixing automobiles.
Yeah.
And they're barely making ends meet. Another guy was like in $70,000 worth of credit card debt trying to, make this happen.
Yeah.
It's another corrupt organization like FIFA, like the NCAA.
Right.
Fuck the Olympics.
Well, no, but you know something? Leave it to America to be able to somehow con people or to make money off of something where they're not supposed to make money. You know, I mean, if you want to talk about the corruption, just look at this whole thing with this doctor, and the athletes, that this was just allowed to go on. It went on.
They're not any different than the NCAA with the whole Sandusky thing. It was hidden. Now they're going to find out who knew, and they're going to go after the people who knew and didn't say anything about it. And good for them. Going back to these athletes, these guys can't even. They put on. One of the guys was showing that when the big cameras aren't on, they get money from sponsors. So they put on temporary tattoos on their bodies, on their arms and stuff to show off the logos. Well, when they go on television for the Olympics, the USOC makes them cover all that. They can't even make money doing that.
Well, there is supposedly something where you're not supposed to the athletes aren't supposed to make money. Am I right about that? I mean, they're supposed to be amateurs.
Amateurs.
But
you need expenses.
But wait a minute. But that is violated. Now I'll tell you where it's violated. We field a basketball team at the Summer Olympics, and every one of them are what? They're professionals. So apparently you can be a professional.
Whatever makes money for the USOC and the Olympics is, if you go Google the Beijing Olympic camp, you see what you see. It's just a bunch of abandoned buildings, grass growing everywhere. This goes on in all these cities. The Olympics is a big joke, and I won't spend 2 seconds watching it.
If we were talking about this in Europe right now, we'd be talking about FIFA.
Yeah, FIFA's the same way.
There's another absolutely insanely corrupt organization.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's people making money off the backs of these athletes who get nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, FIFA, I think the soccer players make good money. Many of them. Not all of them, but many of them.
The NCAA and not the Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if you're a gymnast, you get raped. You know, I mean, or fingered or whatever that guy was doing.
Little of everything.
You know what I watched today? I watched a documentary on Netflix they have on Gloria Allred. Mm-hmm. Now, I've never had a positive opinion of Gloria Allred because she always seemed to me to be an ambulance chaser. And when I watched this documentary, it was warts and all. Mm-hmm. I came to really appreciate her and the work that she's done for women and for the rights of people of all sexual bents. I mean, what she's done for she was there for the transsexuals, you know. She was there for women's rights. She was there for the women in the Cosby case. But she goes back, 40 years with this, mm-hmm. and has always stayed true to her causes. She has never wavered in her beliefs. And it's really a fascinating documentary about the woman. You come away with an absolute respect for her.
I'll have to look out for that.
So it's on Netflix. You have Netflix, right?
Yeah, I look for documentaries. I love documentaries.
Yeah, yeah.
CNN has got a big one coming up starting Sunday night. It's a 6-part on what's her name, the 1974 Symbionese Liberation Army.
Oh, Patty Hearst.
Patty Hearst.
Yeah.
Got a big thing coming up. I'll watch that.
What was it about that Patty Hearst thing though are they doing it as a documentary? Or are they doing it? I thought somebody was doing it as a docudrama.
It might be a docudrama, but it is supposedly steeped in fact. It's not embellished too much. I'm looking forward to it.
She is the perfect.
I remember it, and it was I just started college radio, and I was doing the news. Yeah. That's how I started, and I remember reading all the stories about Patty Hearst. But that I didn't pay too much attention to. She is
the perfect example of Stockholm syndrome, where you start to feel empathy towards your captors in order to survive.
Yeah. And they gave her a rifle. They gave her a rifle and taught her how to use it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So she made friends with them.
Yeah. Now, the question is, were they able to do that because she was smart or because she was dumb? I mean, apparently she was pliable. Let me put it that way.
Some people believe that she was a part, that whole thing was a setup, and that she was planning to do this, and that she was kidnapped in her own. She knew it was going to happen, and this is something she wanted to do. There are those who believe that.
Well, I was involved, as you know, with the left, the radical left, when I was doing radio in New York, and I got a call from somebody who said, "You want an interview with Patty Hearst?" This is when she was on the run, and I said I wouldn't turn it down.
Yeah.
And they said, "How much money you got?"
Oh, fuck.
And I said, "I don't pay for an interview. I'm not going to pay for an interview because that makes me complicit in the crime."
Sure.
And they said, well, they indicated she was in New Jersey, and that if I could come up with some money or some kind of deal that would make them happy, she would be willing to do an interview with me, and they would take me to a secret location and whatever. And for a while, I wondered whether that was completely legit. And then I found out that at that exact time, when she was caught, but at that exact time, she had been in New Jersey.
Was this because she got kidnapped in '74, I believe?
Yeah.
So was this?
I started working here in New York in '69.
Yeah.
In '69, yeah. So it was.
So
it was
already
while
at PLJ.
I think it was I was a PLJ at the time. So it was around, around 75, something like that.
I can't remember how long she was kept captive or supposedly captive.
Well, the question is how long she was captive and how long she was. I mean, obviously she didn't run away. Okay,
right.
There wasn't a point where she said, "Hey, nobody's around. I'll leave. I'll go."
Right.
And that's the whole question about Patty Hearst. Was she a willing accomplice?
Well, they took her in the bank and she held a gun, right? And she made that speech, "I'm Patty Hearst, and you don't move," or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, but I mean that could have been done under duress. Believe it or not, we don't know. We don't know if the gun had bullets in it. Let me put it that way. They could have handed her a gun without bullets in it and said, "You're going to do this now, otherwise you're dead." That much I'll give her. But then, as it went on, I mean, she was in a situation where she could probably get away at any time. In fact, when they attacked that house, when the police attacked the house in Los Angeles, she was, I think, somewhere else at the time. And so she didn't get caught in the middle of all of that when they burned the house down and killed all those people in there. So if she could get away and just go driving somewhere and be on some kind of whatever doing something, what was preventing her from just getting in the car and just keeping on driving all the way up to Northern California and knock at her parents' door and say help, And she never did that.
No.
She did
go to prison.
Huh? Yeah.
She did time in prison for it.
She got caught, and she did go to prison. And I did meet her on one occasion, just briefly, in that I was involved in a comedy show. I think it was the one I did with Robin Williams and Jerry Seinfeld and Kevin Pollak and Dana Carvey, we went backstage, and there backstage was Patty Hearst and her boyfriend, who was her bodyguard. And she just said hello to everybody, and the other people were like really having something to do with her, and of course she was interested in meeting Robin, and well, Jerry Seinfeld wasn't a known quantity at that point, and neither was Kevin Pollak, and Dana Carvey was a local comedian, but that was the only time I ever saw her, and I don't think anybody's ever come close to interviewing her. I can't remember an interview with her.
Yeah.
About the whole thing. I mean, because obviously, if you're going to interview her, you don't want to sit there and say, "So, how's your marriage been? And how many kids do you have? And where do you live now? And are you at some point you've got to say, so let's talk about the kidnapping."
That's why she probably doesn't get interviewed, because she probably says no to anything that has to do with that, and nobody cares about anything else.
Right.
So
right.
There's no relevance there.
So, the question would be, here comes Patrick. We're starting to build a little bit of head of steam here. Hello, Patrick. How are you?
I'm alive.
Patrick, I got an education today. I was thinking, I never saw, I'm wondering, listening to you, I listen even though I've been calling in, listening to you, and I started thinking, what is it like to drive a vehicle the way you do? And so I started Googling it, and I found all these websites where they actually show you the controls and all that. Do you have one of those push-pull things?
You push for brake, and then you go down toward your lap for gas.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
And
it is.
And it's completely safe, right?
Well, yeah, I've been driving like that for forever now. Yeah, so I mean, and there are different types. There are motorcycle types where you can shift.
Yeah.
Fist, and that it depends on what you are comfortable with. But that was the one that was given to me, just a straight bar that you push in and push down, and just like if you're a passenger in a car and you're seeing somebody coming up to the car in front of them too fast, your foot will depress on the brake that's not there.
Yeah.
My hand does that. I could be with somebody else and my hand is trying to brake.
That's funny.
So, yeah, so my brain is wired to my hand rather than my feet now for driving.
There's a great Jay's. Do you ever watch Jay's Garage?
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Well, I saw it last night, and he did an interview with a driver who was in an IndyCar wreck, and he became a quadriplegic. Hadn't driven for like 20 years, and now he's driving again. And he's using this tube that he puts in his mouth.
I was going to mention that. Do you have a thing you blow into?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And then he's got these sunglasses on, and however he looks, the car turns that way.
He moves his head, right?
It's pretty cool. He was driving a brand new Corvette. It was a beautiful car. And he took Jay for a ride, and he's blowing in this tube. And Jay asked him, have you ever like run out of breath? He goes, yeah, I was going up this mountain and I'm blowing and blowing and ran out of breath.
Well, wait a minute. Now, when he blows into the thing, what does that do?
That puts the accelerator down. And then when he goes, he sucks in, that brakes. So it's air. It's all done with his mouth. And this tube.
That could be devastating.
Pretty cool, though.
You don't drive when you've got a cold. Let me see, Jeff.
So 60 years ago, a friend of mine had this car, his father's car, and it was the same system that you have now, Patrick. And it was pretty functional. It was a simple system.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the same kind. I mean, maybe it's more sophisticated now and maybe a little more simplified, but it worked great.
Once I saw it, they're actually physically connected to the brake pedal and the gas pedal.
Anyone can drive my car.
Yeah.
Don't tell that to idiot, because it's almost like a theft deterrent system. If you were a punk ass kid and you broke into my car, and you saw this bar, you really wouldn't know what the fuck to do, because you can't tell if you can put your feet on the pedal, when in fact either one of you guys could get in my car and just turn the key and drive. The only thing you have to remove is I have a suicide knob on. I don't know if you guys remember those.
Oh, I love those. When I was a kid, every kid who had a car, first thing he put in was a suicide knob. Right? In case people don't know what we're talking about, because I don't even think they make them anymore. You used to put this thing on your wheel that had it was a knob, and it was a knob that would rotate. So you could then you could put one arm around your girlfriend, or one arm you could be jerking off or whatever, and just drive with one hand because you'd be going like this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're illegal as hell. But on my driver's license, I have an exception. I mean, on the back of my license, I've got all of these requirements and all these exceptions, so that if I ever get pulled over, I'm allowed to have the hand control. I'm allowed to have the suicide knob. The only problem with suicide knob is if I were to get into a car accident, it probably could kill me.
Why is that?
Crushing my chest, or if I bang my head on it, because it's an additional thing on the steering wheel, and it's dangerous as shit.
Why do you have it?
What that?
Why have it then?
Because I have to have one hand working the brake and the gas, and the other on the wheel. Well, if I can't get the wheel moving as fast as I want to, where like you guys, if you're driving with one hand on the wheel and you get to a situation where you got to do two hands, you can quickly do it because you're working your brakes and your gas with your feet. I can't do it, and I could get into a lot of fucking problems. So
I remember the one bad thing. I think the reason they made them illegal. Hello, Kevin, by the way. Kevin's joining us. The reason they made them illegal was I think they had a tendency to sometimes get caught in the cuff of your shirt or whatever, and that could cause accidents.
The only reason I thought suicide made illegal, it's for the same reason as what I'm telling you. For me, if you get in a car accident, you could crush your chest beyond crushing your chest on a steering wheel.
Yeah.
Plus power steering. Power steering was there were more for non-power steering.
Well, right. That's what they were made for. Yeah. Buses used to have them.
Yeah.
And,
big trucks. We usually put them on our big trucks.
Right.
The semis.
Can you set the cruise control?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I do all the time. Yeah. I mean, when I'm on the freeway, I hit the cruise, and at night, because then I can get my hand to brake, off the gas and let it sit on there.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Jeff just gave us a tour around his house. That's so cool when you're walking and you get the camera. It looks really weird. Your audio isn't on. Your sound isn't on. We can't hear you. Yeah. Turn something. There you go. There you go. Yeah.
This is not my house.
That's not your house. Where are you?
I'm in Florida right now.
Oh, you're in Florida.
Nice.
Oh, when you started that trip through the house, you were actually in Connecticut, and then you just wound up in Florida. Oh, so what are you doing in Florida, by the way? And then we'll get back to the suicide knob. What?
Yeah, this is my sister's, my wife's sister.
Oh, okay.
There. And we came to visit her and see how she's doing, and she's got this beautiful big house and plenty of room.
No, that's nice. That's terrific.
And you know what?
What?
It's nice and warm down there.
Yeah.
Being a snowbird.
And you know what, Jeff? Fuck you. Okay. Today again, it was 28. And I've see with this Echo now, this Echo Spot with the TV screen on it that I bought, I can just say to it like, "What's the temperature right now?" And the picture actually comes up on the screen, you know, with either rain or whatever, and the temperature.
The new Echo, the video version.
Well, this is the video version, but this is not the big screen thing. It's a little like it's a ball, and it's got a screen in it.
Oh.
And it just fits right by the side of the bed. It's perfect for the side of the bed. It's smaller than most clock radios, and it has that same function plus a lot of others. I could tell, wake me up in the morning to the news, and time would come and it would wake me up. You know, it's good. I can call you. I could say, call Rob Alfano, and it will call you. Oh. And yeah, so you know, it's terrific. I love Amazon. I think they really came up with a good deal there. But then they got the Apple HomePod, which Renee last night said that she had was buying one, and I said, well, you know, there's a sucker born every minute, because yes, the sound is supposed to be terrific on the HomePod, but that's about all it does. You know, it doesn't to begin with. It has Siri. Now, I don't know about you, but most people agree that Siri sucks, that it started out being the first artificial intelligence that we had in a phone, and now it becomes the most stupid artificial intelligence we have because it doesn't understand a fucking thing you say. You know, I mean, Google got it down. Amazon has it down even better. Very rarely does my Amazon Echo ever get me wrong. You know, so sometimes it can get frustrating. But the fact was, somebody reviewed the HomePod today and said it's got a long way to go before it's as good as any of the other things that are doing the same thing. I think Google has one, Amazon has one, and you know, it's just but the sound is supposedly pretty good. But they say it's not as good as if you bought two Sonos speakers and use them. It, you know.
What do they run, like $400 or something?
$340, I think.
Geez.
Well, you know, I mean, come on, you know. I just love the Echo. It does what it. I don't care if the music isn't the highest fidelity, okay? Because I don't use it for that, except like when I'm eating dinner and I want a little background music, and then it sounds just fine to me. Yes, Patrick.
The only speakers I give a shit about are the ones in my car. So when I'm listening to music in the car, after I mostly listen, that's where I want it to sound good.
Yeah.
The rest of it, I don't care.
Well, I
mean,
don't.
Like, if I listen to my iPod through my Bluetooth and my hearing aids, it sounds fine. It's good enough for when I clean my apartment or whatever. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, I don't use I don't listen to music much at home. I mean, what I do most at home is watch TV, and we do a lot of that, you know, because between all the things you've got now, between the Netflix, the Hulu, the HBO, and quite frankly, is HBO doing anything lately? I don't, you know, it seems to be all Netflix, you know. between all that stuff, there's a lot of TV going on. So we get involved in that. But let's go to some of the topics du jour of the day. I was mentioning the Olympics tonight, and the fact that Mike Pence was there, and he did an interview with Lester Holt of NBC News about it. And what is that rumbling? Somebody moving their microphone around or something? Kevin, it was Kevin. I knew it was you, Kevin. Or wasn't it? I don't know. Anyway, and he was talking about, well, while we're here, we should let everybody know how horrible North Korea is. And, I'm telling you, that's not what the Olympics is about. It's not there to go and wage your little battles. It's to go there and for a moment take a breather and have some peace. And, I mean, who is exemplifying that the most? I think it's the two Koreas getting together and fielding one team. And I think that's wonderful. But somehow he was there to not go along with that. He didn't think that wasn't good, right? And he's then in the stands, and I don't know. I mean, they could have put him anywhere in that. Well, I know from having gone to Olympics that there is a certain stands that all the dignitaries from the various countries are placed. So they're all next to each other. I mean, when I went to the Olympics in Barcelona, I looked at it, and there was Castro, and there was there was all these leaders from around the world. But they could have done a slightly better seating job because it's a pretty big stand there that has all the dignitaries. They put Pence right in front of Kim Jong-un's sister.
And do you think that son of a bitch would turn around and shake her hand or something?
No, he wouldn't.
He wouldn't because
the fact was that
the single woman,
and he had the opportunity because the what do you call it? The head of South Korea turned around and went up to her and shook her hand and said, welcome to South Korea, and we're glad we're all taking part in these games and so on, or whatever they were saying to that effect. Pence didn't even turn around.
No,
it was like he pretended like did you see a dog? No, I didn't see a dog. Did you see a dog? Yeah. Do you remember that commercial? He just wouldn't recognize, and it would have just been nice for a moment, in the name of international peace, to just turn around and shake her hand, or at least acknowledge her existence of being there.
Yeah, in the spirit of the supposedly good sportsmanship of the Olympic Games.
Right.
Just take a 2-minute break.
Exactly. Right. I was watching it just a few minutes ago because it's just playing over here on the West Coast, and I was just saying to my wife, I was going, at least the South and the North Koreans are showing a little bit of peace, and they're singing "Imagine" from John Lennon, and they're shaking hands, and they're grabbing the cauldron together.
And they also flew. They flew under. They walked under one flag.
They walked under one flag, and they're holding the flame together. But do you see anything like that? We're just sitting there saying, we're going to take away your fucking money. That's all they're saying.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it was.
Totally embarrassing.
Very embarrassing.
I think it would have been a terrific advantage if he had just shook her hand and say, "Nice to see you here."
Yeah, but you just
it's
huge.
Wonderful of you to come.
Something easy. Right.
She's a single woman, can't do that.
Oh,
it's got to put a sheet on her and cut a hole. Maybe he can get a hand through it.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you're right. He's that way, isn't he?
Yeah, he's that way.
Yeah.
Idiot.
They'll accuse me of touching her pussy.
Yeah, right.
You could have worn gloves or something.
The rest of the White House can go to hell, right, with all the shit that's going on, but he can't. God forbid he talks to a single woman.
That bothered me a great deal. I just thought that it was not a good representation of us. Maybe he was afraid that if he did that, he would go back home and Donald would ream him out for doing it.
Yeah, get his pee-pee spanked or something.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, grow up, But anyway, so that was that. Okay. Oh, here comes Mark Green. that was that. Hello, Mark. How are you? Mark, you there?
Yeah, hi. How are you?
Hi. Good. Did you see this thing with Pence tonight with not saying hello to Kim Jong-un's sister?
Well, I think I know what you're.
By the way,
move
your camera so we can see a little more of your face. It's kind of like you're only partially in face here. Just move.
Okay, I can't tell.
Yeah, just no. Move it so it's down a little bit. There, you're getting there. You're getting there. No, there. Now it's not there. You can't see yourself in there.
Well, I got to get rid of something here.
Yeah, just so you can see it. But anyway.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Perfect.
That's terrific. Perfect. I mean, did you see that whole thing with Pence and the?
Well, I tell you, the people I know that would like maybe agree with Pence would say they all look alike, and you really didn't know.
Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, it was. I just think there was something quite wrong with not acknowledging her. You know, and
well, you know exactly what it is. That's the Trump thing.
But you know what they were doing? They were giving him. I said to myself, well, why did they sit her there and him there? And it then hit me that probably they were doing it as a nice thing because he was sitting right next to the South Korean president. Okay? And so that was the preferred place to put dignitaries. All right? And so because that, if he had put Pence way over on the other side of that group, he would probably felt insulted by that. So I think there was a certain political thing saying, hey, well, let's put him here because he's got to be next to the president. Well, he's going to be in front of the someone. Well, he'll live with that. No, he won't. He's an asshole. You know. So.
Well, it's why is it Pence there instead of Trump in the first place?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Trump wouldn't go to that thing because number one, Trump doesn't want to travel if he doesn't have to, and secondly, I think
it's not the Trump property.
But I also think he would be afraid to go there because he would have to actually face-to-face deal with the North Koreans, somebody he's been vilifying for the last year. Mm-hmm. Yes, Patrick.
And the same question we asked, why didn't Kim go?
Why didn't Kim? Well, you're right. You're right.
I mean,
I was trying to remember. Did Obama ever go to an Olympics? I'm trying to remember.
I don't know if the presidents have ever gone, but I will say this much: if it was Pence and Rocket Man was there,
yeah,
I wouldn't acknowledge him. But his sister, yes.
Yeah.
Because she's not. I mean, yes, it's a political deal, but she is not directly involved in the government, for what we know, and taking part in all the bullshit.
Right.
So I think an acknowledgement, even short of a handshake, but even a nod or a hello would be appropriate.
Some kind of acknowledgement of at least in the trenches, coming out of the trenches for a moment, peaceful gesture, and then you go back to the trenches and you fight again. But I don't think he has that concept. I don't think anybody in this administration has that concept.
I think the other part that's very important is Korea was running the show. And there would be a very important part.
Well, I would think
of us to recognize them.
I would think that if South Korea could pause for a moment and say, of course, North Korea, you can be part of our team. We'll be a team together. Then he should have turned around to acknowledge her, because that was in the spirit of what they were doing. Come 2 weeks from now, damn well that Kim Jong-un is going to go launch another rocket. And this time he'll probably try and put a Tesla on top of it. And, and it'll be, and yesterday, before the Olympics, he had this big, giant parade like Trump wants, with all the armaments of destruction traveling down the street while he was standing there with his sister there, by the way. You know, I mean, in that respect, it's business as usual, but in Pyongyang, it's not. This is a moment of peace. And you know, I've been to Olympics before, and what I've loved about the Olympics was that sense of peace. Now, the other thing that we had tonight that was different was the Russian team. The Russian team wasn't allowed to compete as the Russian team. Why? Because of their doping scandals. All right? So they were banned from this Olympics. So the Olympic Committee, or the Olympic people, whatever, came up with a solution for all those hard-working athletes who have trained so hard to compete in the Olympics from Russia, who probably themselves should not be given a penalty for their government having done what they did. So they allowed them to participate under a unified team of an Olympic team with an Olympic flag. And so that whole Russian team was marching in front of and back of a Olympic flag, and they were, it even said underneath, the Olympic team. And I thought that was an interesting solution to a problem. But Russia is not in this in these Olympics at all. So, you know, but everybody tries to come to some kind of peaceful accord somehow in order to make these things work, and I think it's wonderful when that happens. And I went to two Winter Olympics, and I got to say, and I went to two Summer Olympics, and of them, the Winter Olympics to me were the ones I will always remember, because it's a whole different feeling than the Summer Olympics, because you're in a cozy little town and everybody's wrapped up because it's cold, and the spirit is really wonderful. I mean, you'd walk down the street and somebody'd say, "Where are you from?" And I'd say, "America, the United States." And they go, "Well, congratulations, your team won today," you know? And, "Well, who are you?" "I'm so-and-so." "Oh, well, congratulations to you. I know that your skater won today." There's this feeling of camaraderie among all these people, and not this feeling of, we've got to compete and get all the gold and go home. You know, that's only for the leaders of these countries to brag about, because you can bet your life, if we take a lot of gold in Pyongyang, you can bet that Trump is going to brag about it in some posts, saying, "Oh, you know, look at us, we're number one, we're number one." Now, what do you think? What do you think about the parade?
Oh God, what a waste!
It's a mass idea.
I think they should have a parade.
Yeah.
I think it should be called the Presidential Porn Star and Prostitute Parade.
Yeah.
They should have it on Valentine's Day to celebrate love.
Yeah, yeah.
Stormy
Daniels should be the Grand Marshal.
Who's that?
Stormy Daniels should be the Grand Marshal.
Yeah, she should be the queen. That would be perfect. But to have the parade that Donald Trump's talking about is just bizarre.
Yeah.
To me.
Well, somebody said, "I'm all for them having a parade if we're bringing the troops home." You know, the last time we had a parade is because we were bringing the troops home.
I mean, the last thing troops want to do is march in a parade.
Yeah.
You know, they would rather be in the audience, like drinking beer and smoking cigarettes and watching you walk down the street.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about, you know, the guy with the bald head in the back.
Yeah. Somebody wrote here, Foreman wrote, Trump asked the Navy to drive a submarine in the parade. So,
in the sewer system of D.C.
No, but the idea of the parade is so jingoistic and so ridiculous and would cost so much. I mean, that money could be used for lots of other things. but he only wants it so he can stand there and have it go by him. And then he uses it.
You know, but the cost thing to me is weird, because the Defense Department just got like another $160 billion or some crazy number, and they want to use that to buy less effective nukes so they can use them.
Yeah.
In other words, the nukes we have now are too powerful, so we can't use them, so they're a waste. Can you believe that's what we're doing?
Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is that he used as his example of why he wanted a parade the fact that he had been in Paris on Bastille Day and they held a giant military parade, and he wanted a parade like that. And somebody pointed out that he didn't even know what Bastille Day celebrated, which was basically the chopping off of rich people's heads.
Does it surprise you?
Huh?
Does it surprise you?
You know, I mean, it's amazing how that's the only message he got out of Bastille Day was, hey, look, a nice parade. We should have a parade like that in America. Yes, Jeff.
In Washington, there's small parades all during the whole year.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been down to Washington, D.C., and all of a sudden you see the guys would come out. You know, there would be, I don't know what, 20 people or something like that. They'd come out and march and open up a couple of things and then leave. You know, and you'd stop and watch it, and it took, I don't know, 20 minutes the most, maybe even less. And he could do that anytime he wants.
I think he should do like a hometown parade where you have like cars that says Bob's Realty on it, you know, things like that. Tyson Zacosta writes, Trump is delusional and his parade is going to be a logistical nightmare. There isn't enough room on Pennsylvania Avenue to accommodate the type of parade Trump wants. That's right. You got to remember, all those parades that you see in Russia and you see in North Korea are done in literally on huge places like Tiananmen Square and so on, where there is that kind of room to have that kind of armament traveling down the street. The only kind of parades you have on Pennsylvania Avenue are for like the inauguration and the president waves to everybody as he drives by. Yes, Patrick.
No, we did. Like I said the other night after the Gulf War in '91, we did have a parade down Pennsylvania, and they had Abrams tanks, and they had the whole shit go down there. So they can do it. It's just a matter of why. I mean, we did it back in '91 for the end of the war. It was a way to welcome the troops back versus what they got when they came back from Vietnam.
Yeah, yeah.
Why we did it, to show the country behind the guys versus spitting on them.
Yeah.
And then we've had no reason under George W. Bush, Clinton, or Obama to have a parade for anything. And now, you know, this guy got an ego the size of, you know, whatever. And there's no reason for it. And I think a couple of us said the other night, if it's going to cost, I think, $22 million to do it, why not spend that money at the VAs? You know, where it's going to do some good for the veterans and that sort of thing versus this. And like, you know, like was said, you guys don't want to fucking march anyway.
I'll tell you, this parade is like the fucking wall. It's not going to get built, and there's not going to be a parade. I can guarantee you there's not going to be a parade.
Plus, we haven't spent any money on infrastructure, and any bridge they drive over will probably fall apart.
Right. Hello, Vernon Nunn. How are you this evening?
I'm just fine.
Yeah. Hey, do you have your little Morse code thing there? You can. Here. What did you just say?
See his radio in the background?
I said C.
Oh, you said C. Oh, that's just C. Now, how would you Morse code the word Trump? Oh, so you spell out the words, right?
SOS.
Yeah.
Right?
SOS. Yes,
SOS.
right. Anyway, I love that. It's a soothing sound. Probably last heard on the Titanic. Anyway, but it really is kind of ridiculous that he's even deciding he wants to do that. But he comes up with ridiculous ideas all the time.
It would be great if nobody showed. All this stuff going on and nobody showed up on the street. Just say
there'd still be 1 million people.
Oh, it'd still be 1 million people there. Don't you remember the inauguration? Somebody last, I think I was watching Colbert, which I don't do that often, but he was showing the inaugural parade and how one of the stands was completely empty.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that was the biggest inauguration ever. So it was amazing to me. Did anybody see Omarosa on Celebrity Big Brother?
Yep.
And it went, huh?
She just pisses me off.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second. What were you saying, Patrick?
Yeah, I saw that she was going to be on it, and I just saw a snippet of her saying that she was the queen of the boardroom, and now she's going to be the whore of the TV or whatever.
Well, no. What she did was she started confiding in people. Maybe this is a way to stay on the show forever because you want to hear what things she's going to reveal. But she said, we're really in trouble. She said that whole White House is, in bad shape. Well, Omarosa didn't have to tell us that. I think we figured that one out for ourselves, didn't we?
So what do you think about, I've been thinking about that too. What do you think about all these Republicans and these people? Do you think that they're letting Trump do what he does so that he implodes, and they're all just going along with it? Like, she was saying, he's doing this and he's doing that, and they're all telling her to back off. Let him do it. Let him do it. And then he's just going to slowly implode, and they're all just sitting back and just letting him do it because they can't stop him.
Well, there was part of the problem they've had here. The present problem is that is now we have our second person in the White House who has just lost his job for supposedly spousal abuse.
Right.
So now there are two of them.
Right.
Yeah.
So, all this shit's happening, and nobody can stop Trump from doing what he's doing. So they're all just sitting back going, let the fucker do what he's going to do, and he's going to implode after a year.
Well, the lawyers try to tell him, don't do that, don't do this. It's not good if you do this. It's not good if you do that. They are scared shitless, supposedly, of him testifying to Mueller. Because they know that if he opens his mouth somewhere in the first 15 minutes, he's probably going to commit perjury when they ask him his name.
So let him do it.
Huh?
Let him do it.
Well, let him do it, but the lawyers don't want him to do it because they know he's a loose cannon.
No, they know he's a liar.
Well, they know he's a liar, but he's also a loose cannon. If they tell him, like, if you're asked this kind of question, here's how you evade it, or you refuse to say anything about it, or whatever, that he is just not good for taking direction that way.
Yeah, they could give him a script and he'd fuck it up.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, they're worried about that. But the newest thing, of course, the big scandal at the White House is all these people, now two of them now, where they've been accused of spousal abuse. And in one case, they covered it up for months.
Wait a minute, Alex. If you went to Mueller and talked about what you've done the past year, would you have to worry about lying?
Would you have to worry? What do you mean?
No, would you have to worry about lying?
No, not at all.
So why should Trump?
Because he has something to cover up.
Because he's been lying all the time.
That's correct.
Right?
Well,
so it's not a perjury trap. It's because he's a crook.
Oh, no, I think it's worse than being a crook. He's just a fucking liar. You know?
I know, but he should be caught. My point is, it's not a perjury trap when you lie all the time.
No,
goes around, comes around.
Right. But I mean, they're just afraid. They don't want him talking. They just hello to Ray. Hello to Ray Renati. Patrick's got his hand up. Yes, Patrick.
Two things. One, I agree with Mark that it isn't a perjury trap. He's being asked questions, and he's just going to be himself, and whatever that is going to happen. And the lawyers shouldn't worry about it because they're not going to be on the hot seat. He will. The other thing is, I was watching Fox News last night. I was watching The Five, and I watch it because there's the hot chicks on there. And,
I understand, Patrick.
They were talking about before the second guy got resigned, the first guy that resigned for the spousal abuse.
Yeah.
And one of the women on there was an attorney, and she said the reason it took so long for him to resign, is when you go into a position like this Porter, I think his name was.
Yeah.
You are vetted, and you go through this vetting process that very, very invasive in your personal life.
Yeah.
And if they find something like that out and you contest it, then they have to go back and they have to reinvestigate, which is why it took so long for him. And he was able to get away with it because he denied that ever happened. And then because they interviewed his wife or his ex-wife as well, and she's the one who told them way back a year ago that he abused me, he did this, that, and the other. And once you contest it, then they have to go back through the investigation again.
Yeah, but here's the situation. Of course, even today, Trump to the press said, well, he has said he's not guilty, right? That he didn't do anything. And we have to assume his innocence before we, go along with his guilt or whatever. And the fact is that he's so ready and willing to believe him over a picture of a woman with a black eye.
The boohoo answer he gave in that press conference today. Oh, I feel so sorry for him. It's sad for him. Never said nothing about her, but he was boohooing him. Like, I hope he does good in his career going forward, and never said nothing about her and her black eye.
Off book on this, one of his staff, this Hope, what's her name? I don't know her last name now.
Hicks.
Hope Hicks was fucking this guy. And she was crafting all the PR releases for him to try and take care of this thing. Trump supposedly is very mad about that and is thinking of dumping her because, anything that makes him look bad, he gets rid of. And there's even talk that Kelly may be gone as a result of this. Supposedly Kelly resigned or offered his resignation, and Kelly denies that. But that he knew about this whole situation, and they were investigating it for the last couple of months. That's why the guy never got his full clearance, it's a clusterfuck because everybody's afraid to tell the king he doesn't have any clothes on. And when you've got
employees,
if you've got a bunch of people, God forbid, I would hate to have seen what the Trump Corporation looked like. Because if the whole Trump Corporation existed to keep this man's ego happy, that's no way to run a company, and that's probably why he went bankrupt. That's why he went bankrupt so many times. He did not know how to run a company. Who's using their microphone? They're making noise here. Okay.
Not me.
The only reason I bring that up is that for the listeners out there, it kind of may become disconcerting. He's a bad manager. He doesn't know how to run a company.
He's like Jack Dawson on the Titanic.
Yeah.
He's standing on the front of the boat saying, I'm king of the world, and he believes it.
Exactly. But he doesn't want anybody in there that tells him he isn't. Or that, it used to be, they used to say that in Rome when they would have a conquering army coming home and there was a general who was the conquering general, he would be riding the chariot through the streets of Rome and people would be cheering him like crazy. And supposedly there was a guy on the chariot with him whispering in his ear, fame is fleeting. Fame is fleeting. And if that's true, there should be somebody to tell this guy fame is fleeting. You know, you don't run the country at the service of your ego. And that's what he's doing.
But it seems that anybody who has told him that has been fired, and so that no one else says anything anymore. They just sit back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why he's a bad manager. A good manager, I mean, like when I had several people working under me because I was doing a radio show, I would always tell them, look, I don't want people here yesing me and telling me, oh, you're wonderful and you're terrific, when I'm not. When I do something bad, let me know. When I do something you don't think works, let me know. If you think I did a shitty show today, let me know. The last thing I want are a bunch of people around me who are sycophants trying to keep me happy.
Yeah.
You know, because it serves me better if you're critical of me. You know.
I think
they then all told me I was full of shit, and we got on with our lives after I fired them. Anyway, no, but I
think the stock market crash hurt Trump.
Well, he hasn't said anything about it.
He was getting away with murder until everything went south.
Well, I mean, worse than that, he hasn't mentioned anything about it. Where's the tweet on this?
Disappeared.
You know, no tweet.
Because there's nothing easier for a politician to do than cut taxes. You know, what's easier than that?
Well,
he took credit for that, and then said, "Look what I did for you people."
By the way, he always pointed to the stock market in that speech he would always give about how good things were.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know,
so that's why I think what's going on now is, like, as you mentioned, the emperor has no clothes. That showed what the reality is.
Yeah.
And we now have increased our deficit by like $2.5 trillion. And all of a sudden, the Republicans don't care.
Well, Rob, you weren't on when I asked this question the other day. How much money have you lost this week?
I don't even know. I keep my head out of it because you can't pay attention.
Oh, I've lost about $4,000.
Yeah.
You know, but it's, you know, I've got so many thousands more than I had a year ago. And my business manager said to me, if I told you right now you'd have this much money a year ago, you'd go, wow, that'd be terrific. You know, so he said that's the way you got to look at it. But I mean, he literally, and people say, well, it's not Trump's fault. I think it is. I think that there is a lot of fear in the market based upon what they're seeing going on, and these tax cuts don't mean shit to a tree. That is maybe that's scaring people away. The fact that we're going to add $1 trillion to our debt from a guy who said our debt's too high to begin with is not a good sign. You know, so what do we do?
Do Santa Claus.
Yes, Jeff.
Did you notice that your government money went up about a month ago or something?
What do you mean my government money went up? Social Security?
Social Security.
Well, there's a yearly raise you get based upon the cost of living. I think it wasn't that much this year. I think it was only like about $70 or something.
I calculated it, and I think it's going to be $30 a month.
Oh, really?
So I could maybe buy a half a cup of coffee.
Well, I mean, it's $1 a day.
Every other day.
It's $1 a day, and you know, if you save enough of that, probably after a year or so, you'll be able to hire a hooker.
Unless it's Starbucks, and then it's a cup of coffee a week.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
And I think hookers are $135,000 now. So
yeah.
Please do not play Stormy Daniels as being a prostitute. She's not. She's a porn actress. There's a difference. I'll let you know what it is.
I don't know. I don't know what the difference is.
The difference is
you know more about than I do.
A prostitute will have sex with anyone who has the money. A porn actress will have sex with other porn actors for money. And
get
so
paid a lot more than the guys do.
Well, but it's not a free. Not anybody can have her. You know, you and I would have to become porn stars before we could have Stormy Daniels. And even then, I wouldn't want her. Yes, Patrick.
I found out that a well-known former client of mine was arrested and charged with soliciting a prostitute for $80.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm just curious, what do you get for $80?
The clap.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, besides clap or something. I mean, shit. So, yeah, that was kind of surprising. Another friend of mine that I used to work with alerted me to it, and I said, $80. The fuck do you get for that?
Yeah.
So,
A hand job.
maybe, yeah.
And I think it depends what time of the day it is too.
True. True. Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, it's kind of and then the other thing that got me is today when I was watching this Gloria Allred documentary on Netflix. It shows the place where she went out and found all these women who had sex with Donald Trump or had been, abused by Donald Trump in one way or another. And there were like about 9 of them, something like that. Why hasn't that stuck? Why hasn't that been pursued? Why do people say, that's just Donald? Well, that's what they did with Weinstein. They went, that's just, that's just Weinstein. Yes, Patrick.
On that document, I didn't see it. I have no interest in anything that Allred does.
Well, I'll tell you, Patrick, if you watch it, you might have a bigger respect for her. You really...
I got that.
Yeah.
I just that'd be like me watching something I there's something that won't let me do it. But anyway, in that documentary, did they mention a woman who was on an airplane with him? Because I had heard about, it's got to be 18 months ago. It was before he was the nominee. I think it was right before.
Yeah.
There was a woman that was supposed to be coming out, and she had done an interview with named somebody, I don't know.
Yeah.
And she had been on a plane with him and had gone, he was either feeling her up or trying to get her into the bedroom.
I think, I can't remember all the incidences that were reported in this show, but I think that was one of them. Something about something happening on a plane, and she sued him or something.
Right, and that was supposed to be a big one that was supposed to come out about, like I said, maybe 18 months ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, but I had heard it on some radio show that I listened to back then, and it sounded like it was a sure thing, and I never heard anything more about it until, and I didn't think about it till you mentioned this Allred thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm curious.
Well, the trouble is with a guy when he's president, the one thing about Trump is by becoming president, he went behind this Teflon wall that protects him from a lot of things, at least for now. Like, for instance, I'm sure there are things about the running of the Trump Corporation that easily he could be arrested for, okay? But they're not going to do that because he's president. It's a little harder to do it while he's in office, okay?
It should be easier to do it. You should be held above.
Absolutely.
Because it's terrible what's going on. He hides behind the presidency, and we're watching people every day go down for different things, whether it's the Me Too thing or whatever.
Yeah.
We're watching people go down every day, and yet this guy is standing tall.
Well,
it's absolute bullshit.
He's out there representing this country and sullying its reputation.
Now, I want to talk about something here, and I hate to say this about the guy because I suppose I should have a visceral hatred of Rand Paul, but I don't. He was the one guy in Congress who held up the vote to get this new budget approved because he felt it was reckless. He said, this is going to cost us $1 trillion more a year, and God knows we have enough debt already. And that's why he was holding it up. Now, I don't know why he caved in finally, But man, he was standing firm on this whole thing. He says, I know a lot of you hate me because I'm keeping you here till 3 o'clock in the morning, but this government is more important than you getting some sleep.
It's all bullshit politics because he didn't say the same thing when they signed that tax bill that cost way more.
I think he was not particularly for it, but I think they gave him something.
Oh, well, then.
The give backs.
Because everybody else got something who said yes to this bill.
But I had to hand it to him. It's not that I want to see the government closed down or whatever. But, at what point do you say, folks, do you realize this is $1 trillion? This isn't fucking monopoly money. Or maybe it has become monopoly money. I mean, this is real money that is going to, when the Chinese want their money back, we're in trouble.
Have you heard of the two Santa Claus scenario?
No.
Alex?
Tell me about it.
The two Santa Claus scenario goes that when Republicans are in control of the White House, they spend like drunken sailors.
Yeah.
So everybody loves them because they're spending all of this money. When they're not in the White House, they bitch and moan about the debt. That's the two Santa Claus.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. Because
Rand Paul said that in his speech. He said
He's the original. Rand Paul was an original Tea Party guy. He got elected when the Tea Party came into power in 2010.
He used the Tea Party, but he wasn't exactly a Tea Party guy. He's always been a libertarian.
Right.
Okay.
But a lot of Tea Party people were libertarian.
Yes, but I mean, he used the Tea Party and that whole movement behind the Tea Party to get himself into office. There are times I absolutely hate Rand Paul. He's like got a smug look on his face you'd like to knock off. But nevertheless, he does something like this, and I think whether we say that, hey, he didn't do it before or whatever, it took some moxie to do it. Because he was the one guy holding up the vote. Everybody wanted to go home. And he was trying to put a little fear of God into them by saying, how can you do this and say that you're good with money?
Well, if I'm the Democrats, though, I stand up and say, so where were you on the tax bill? Why is that money okay to spend? That's way more money than this.
Well, exactly. And where were you? I think the Democrats folded like, caved terrifically on all of that. I don't think the tax bill was that great a bill for the average American.
Well, they're saying now that the tax bill could be part of the reason why the stock market's tanking.
Well, then let me say to those people, you're going to get your tax break, and maybe it's going to be $2,000, but you just lost $4,000. So there was a price to pay for that. Why do you think that the tax bill caused the stock market crash? And I'm going to call it a crash. They call it a correction because that sounds so nice. But it's a crash. I mean, we went down, 3,000 points or something in a matter of 2 weeks?
I can tell you, the U.S. deficit is going to go up. The deficit, they have to vote for to raise the debt ceiling again. So what does that do? Causes pressure on interest rates. Interest rates will go up. And the average guy got $1.50 a week.
Yeah.
And now.
Yeah. So what do we do? As I said, I wrote my business manager yesterday, and the note simply said, "At what point do we jump out of the building?" It was pretty bad in the last couple of weeks, and yet you don't hear a word from Mr. Moneybags. Look at all the money we're making. Look how good the stock market is doing.
Nothing.
So anyway,
I think what he said for the last couple of months really heated up the market. It absolutely did.
It heated it up.
Yeah.
What?
He caused the prices go up for the last couple of months, and then.
How did he do that? You would think.
Well, he told everybody every day that that the market is going up and up, and it's going to go up.
But then why did all of a sudden did it crash? I mean, it took. I mean, this is a nosedive like they haven't seen, because I remember last week when it went down 1,100 points or something like that. They said this is the biggest stock market crash in history. And then the next week, when it was slightly lower than that, they said this is the second highest crash in history. So in 2 weeks, we managed to gut the stock market of close to 3,000 points.
The stock market has gone down. The Dow Jones Industrial Average has gone down 40%, or given back 40% of the gains that it has since Trump took office in 1 week.
In 1 week, yeah. And today it went up like 330 or something like that, and everybody went. That would have been a good day, you know. In the old days, right now it's come on, a little more of that. Let's get some payback here. So anyway, it's ridiculous. But I just hope we're all safe and sound, and you know, I mean, we'll all be in the same soup line together. What the fuck? You know, except for Rob, who's going to board the door to his house and just turn that into his own shelter from the Trump storm. You know, go down there, watch movies all day, and say fuck you to the rest of the world, right, Rob?
That's right. Fuck them all.
Didn't you say you went down there? He built a movie theater in his basement of his new house. That you went down there and you and your wife just watched endless movies, over and over.
And music concerts. I like watching concerts down there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, films or videos. What's all that? What's all that noise? What's all that noise? Who's doing that? Is that you, Vernon? I don't know.
Not me.
It might have been.
Yeah. I
didn't have my mic muted, and I'm doing something here.
Oh, well, when you mute your mic if it's going to make too much noise. So you like to watch concert films? Films or just videos of concerts?
Could be anything. I watched the HBO special on the inductions to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Looked awesome. It sounded great down there. It's, you know, I like watching music down there too.
Yeah. Is it 4K or no?
No, it's not 4K.
Because I got this new 4K TV set, and it's in the guest room, and it's just a sufficient size that it takes up my whole field of vision. So I got put in the surround sound, and it's great. But you know something? I got to tell you, times change, right? Am I right or am I wrong? But was there a time when if you got a hold of Amazon and said, I just looked on Amazon, and it's still like under a month, and you lowered the price on this particular item I bought 25 days ago, they would give you some money back. Am I right about that, or am I wrong?
Yes, no, you're right. I remember that.
Well,
yeah,
I was told, I'm sorry, we don't do that. 7 days. A lot of the things over at Amazon are starting to change. Like if you say, remember when you'd ask for 2-day delivery? Today is what? Is Friday. That would mean I would get it Sunday, right? If I click on 2-day delivery now, that means I'll get it next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, Alex, and I've also noticed that they say 2-day delivery because it's my wife's birthday tomorrow, and it said 2-day delivery. You should get it by Saturday. And now what I'm finding now is it doesn't happen. That you don't get it by Saturday. You get it like Monday.
Well, no, even though
they say you're going to get it, you don't get it.
And I found in one case that I ordered it, and then it said it's coming Tuesday, and this was like on a Thursday. And I went, oh, wait a minute, that's wrong. It's supposed to be 2-day delivery. So I went back and I went to the thing, and it says change delivery time, right? So I clicked on 2-day. In other words, I changed it, but I clicked on 2-day, and then when I went back, it changed it to 2 days. That you sometimes have to make a move to change it. In other words, they're willing to give you like $5 credit if you're willing to take a slow delivery, which means like 5 days.
Right.
I think. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I think that they partnered with so many outside vendors that they make these assumptions that the vendors are going to follow Amazon's rules, and then the vendors aren't able to do it. And then they can't give you what they promise because the vendor doesn't agree to it, on that particular order, or they just simply can't do it.
Yeah. Mr. Green, yes?
Yeah, I got an off-topic question real quick. I'm going to San Francisco next Friday, and I need to get to Monterey. How do I get from downtown San Francisco to Monterey?
Practice. No.
You want the scenic route, or you want
rent a car?
Yeah, take the coast.
Is Uber the best way?
Take the Pacific Coast Highway.
You don't
have a car.
No.
You got to rent a car. There's no other good way to do it other than renting a car.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
What about Uber? Is that possible?
Well, you can get an Uber, but it's gonna cost you
expensive.
Probably about $120, $150.
And that's one way?
One way, yeah.
So if it's two ways, $250.
Well, I'm going one way.
Well, what I'm saying, okay, so let's say it's because that's why you don't want to rent a car. Is because you're going one way. Well, then what are you going to do when you get there? Just drown yourself in the ocean?
No, we're taking Amtrak down to San Diego.
Oh, okay.
You know what else? You know what else you could do is get one of these zip cars that you get. And I think you can leave it in Monterey. Zip car. Have you heard of this? They're all over San Francisco.
Tiny blue and white cars.
Yeah, but
they're like cars. That
I think you would do better. You would do better. It would be here. Well, here's the thing I found. Every year we go up to Vermont, right? And girlfriend wants to rent a car and drive, and then we check how much it would cost to rent a car, and it's like for 3-4 days, it's $750. But then I looked and I said, how much if I want it for a week? And they said $320. And I went, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense at all, right? It just defies my logic. Don't you pay by the day or whatever? No, if you take it for a week, it's $350, something like that. It was half, at least half, okay? And so what we're going to do next year is we're going to rent the car for 7 days, and we're going to go up and see our friends, and then we're going to go on to give ourselves a little extra vacation time and bring it back a week later. I mean, it's insane. So I know what he's going through. It's not that easy to just rent a car, because if you want to rent it for 1 day, it's going to cost a fortune.
Yeah.
So maybe Uber is the best idea.
When you coming in, Mark?
A week from tonight.
You want to drive him down there, Kevin?
I live down here.
You live in Monterey?
Coming into San Francisco?
Yeah.
I'll give you a ride. I live near San Francisco. I can drive you down there.
See?
Because I live down near Monterey.
And I'm an Uber driver.
See the advantages the advantages of calling this program, folks.
Okay, I'm gonna call early next week and figure this out.
How does your Uber reservation here?
Now we got to figure out.
My daughter-in-law has a conference in Monterey, and my son's meeting me in San Francisco next Friday. So we have to figure out how to get from.
Well, now how does he get a hold of you, Ray? We can do it on Facebook, right?
Yeah. Just go on Facebook. I'll give you my phone number. I don't care.
Do you use Facebook?
Yeah.
Mark? Okay.
Not often, but yeah, I'm there.
Just look up Ray Renati and write him a note and say, this is me.
Or Kevin Stopper.
Mark Green, and I, and do it that way. That way we're not going to give any addresses out on the air, and you won't have stalkers and people like that.
That's very cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Ooh, I just looked up Uber X one direction from SF to Monterey is between $160 and $214.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a train.
Is it like 45 miles?
Go to Gilroy.
Close?
Oh no, it's pretty far. It's like it's a couple hours. It's like 2.5 hour drive.
I had friends who had a private jet, and we flew down to Monterey for dinner.
Yeah.
It took us maybe 30 minutes to get to Monterey. When we got back to the plane was broken. There was brake fluid. There was brake fluid seeping from the brakes, and you don't want to take off in a plane with seeping brakes, right? So they had to then hire, for the group of us, because there were about 12 of us, 2 limos to drive us back to San Francisco, which took close to 3 hours.
Wow.
Okay.
Renee just made a point, too. There is that Monterey Air Shuttle, I think, that goes up to SFO and comes down to Monterey.
Yeah, I think there are flights going to Monterey, aren't there?
Yeah, you can fly. Yeah.
No, I mean they have the Monterey Airbus.
Well, let him get a hold. Let him get a hold. Let him get a hold of Ray, and or you can even write to him. It's Mark Green, right, on Facebook.
Yep.
And he's there's going to be a lot of Mark Greens. There's only one me on Facebook.
That's on me to find to chase them.
Yeah, if you get in a bind, let me know too, Mark.
It's Kevin Ray Renati, RayRen. See, I can't even spell it right.
RENATI.
ATI, Ray Renati. Yeah. And anybody else who needs a ride down, to Monterey, give Ray a tweet on the old Facebook and whatever. Let me just ask one last question. What do you think was the most important thing that happened this week? I know
SpaceX.
Exactly. How many would
that was awesome?
Would anybody
I saw a live shot of those? Somebody took a video of it and posted it. Of those rockets coming down. My God, those things looked like they were falling from the sky.
But do you notice? All of
a sudden, they just lit up and slowed down.
Did you see it? Awesome. Did you see it, Rob? Did you, Rob?
No, I didn't.
Oh, these two things. What's all that noise? Two things. These two rockets came down, but they were in synchronization. And they've had a lot of trouble with those rockets not landing. But they sent this rocket, a beautiful rocket, beautiful launch. It takes off, and then it's like a curtain call. These two rockets come and land. The two booster rockets land on a launch pad and
perfectly synchronized.
Did you see it though? They looked like they were falling from the sky, full blast.
I thought it was what it was.
Out of the sky. Flying, and all of a sudden they just went, and they slowly dropped.
Yeah, and what it looked like to me when you watched it happening at the end, it kind of looked like somebody had reversed the video of a North Korean rocket launch.
Yeah.
That's what I strongly suspected. But I just think that was a marvelous moment for us. In that it was the biggest rocket anybody ever sent up. It was done at a fraction of the cost that NASA does it for. It could cost something like $500 million for the whole project from the beginning of it to now for it to take off. That would have been billions over at NASA.
And they would have wasted it. They wouldn't have landed the boosters. They would have just let it fall into the ocean.
Right,
like
exactly.
Yeah, that's why NASA did it.
He did it out of his own freaking wallet.
Yeah. And I just think it was an amazing task, and I think it again another seminal moment for the human race in its desire to leave the cradle, which and it takes a guy like Elon Musk to do it. Good for him. And I love the pictures of that Tesla in space. It's just incredible. It almost looks like it's CGI. But it's not. It's real. Hey, thank you to Jeff. Boy, we had a nice crowd tonight. Good talk, too. Jeff Stein, Patrick Blazik, Mark Green, Ray Renati, the lovely and attractive Rob Alfano, and Kevin, and, of course, Vernon Nunn. And by the way, thank you very much, Rob, for the new promo, okay? Anyway, that's it, everybody. I think it'd be really nice if you'd wave goodbye and say goodbye to the people out there. Yeah, there they are, folks. That's the Citizens Panel. That's the way they roll. I'm Alex Bennett. Got to do a few things here. Close down the Skype line. Okay, I do that, and then I do that, and then the next show can use it, and everything is cool and copacetic. I'm Alex Bennett. I'm going to be going off for a couple of days because we don't do programs for about 3 days. But coming up next is Jack and Amy. They're doing The Intersection, followed very closely by Connections at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. I'll see you right after The Exchange with Damian Chaplin on Tuesday. He'll be here at 9:30, and I'll be here at 10. And same time, as I say. Same station in life. In the meantime, if you see her, she's asleep in the other room right now. Tell her I love her, okay?